Good afternoon and welcome to Folk and Acoustic Music. My name is Michael Stock, here every Sunday afternoon on Public Radio, WLRN. Opening up the program, the Andrew Collins Trio from their CD Groove, and the tune we listened to is Big Toaster. I see that the Andrew Collins Trio is going to make it to South Florida sometime next year. I'll keep you posted. I have a lot of new music today, a lot of old music, and guests in the studio. Coming up in the second hour of the show will be Robert Hand, Nancy Wagner, and Jamie Phlug of Robert Hand and Phlug, who's helping celebrate Luna Star Cafe's 23rd birthday, along with the owner of the cafe who's here today, Alexa Stanfield. And that'll be in the second hour of Folk and Acoustic Music. But right now, Jim Camacho's in the studio, and Jim presents an Adventures in Songwriting. It's a podcast, right?
Yeah, well, it was like a YouTube show that we were doing, and it just sort of grew.
When did you start? Well, you have here some of your songwriters.
I do, yeah. I've invited Charlie, who was on the very first show, and then Roger. He's part of Norwegian. He sort of is the heart behind it, the writer behind it mostly, and then also Michelle is on that show as well. She's an incredible singer, songwriter. The second show was you guys, and then Elsten came along, and Elsten Torres, amazing songwriter, and he was on the show. And there's a couple other people who aren't here, unfortunately. Fernando Perdomo is, you know him?
Sure, Fernando.
He's in
you mean
LA.
Laurel Canyon Fernando?
yeah, exactly.
Echo in the Canyon, Fernando.
Yeah, Fernando Echo in the Canyon. Yeah. Okay. And then we have Rob Elba too. I think I've had him on here with you.
So did you like pick and choose your favorite songwriters?
Yeah, I did. I just picked. I just figured I knew a lot of different songwriters, and I was a fan of a lot of different songwriters in Miami and just around America. And I figured I could put together a show, and maybe they would actually come on, and we could talk about songwriting, and then I could throw them in a completely awkward situation and ask them to write a song in 30 minutes.
Oh, seriously? So it's a new songwriters.
Yes. So we sit down, we talk about music, and then Charlie and I, with the first show, we wrote a song in 30 minutes, and then I did it with Norwegian and did it with Elsten. And all these songs are written in 30 minutes, and then we record them as is. We don't change a thing. Well, maybe we change one tiny little bit. But,
Jim, how good can it be if you write the song in 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's completely horrible. Well, I mean, you be the judge. I feel incredibly lucky that the songs came out as good as they did, because I did not expect it, and I felt like I'm putting my own neck on the chopping block here to do this show. But I just wanted to hear different people's strategies on how to write and share my own, and maybe help a few people who feel like a little bit afraid to write.
And you do this while on stage.
Well, we did. That's for the YouTube
podcast.
show, for the podcast YouTube show. But we're going to do it on stage this Saturday night. In fact, we're inviting lyricists to come, or poets or wordsmiths to come with their lyric in an envelope with their name on it, and give it to us before the show. And at halftime, end of Act 1, we'll grab out one random lyric. And we'll sit there during intermission, write the song on stage, and then when everybody comes back in, we'll play it.
Well, your intermission could take a couple hours.
No. In fact, it's only going to take 15 minutes. That's all we're giving ourselves. So it's half of what we normally do, which is normally the 30-minute thing.
And this is next Saturday night.
Next Saturday night, yeah.
At the Mandelstam?
At the Mandelstam Theater, the magnificent Mandelstam Theater in beautiful South Miami, city of pleasant living. Yeah.
Jim Camacho is here, and he's going to present the Adventures in Songwriting program next Saturday night.
No, this coming Saturday.
This coming Saturday. Well, this Saturday at Mandelstam. And you're also here with some of the songwriters you're bringing.
Yes.
Who do you want to start with? Let's hear a few songs.
Well, the first show was with the amazing Charlie Pickett.
Charlie Pickett's here. Charlie, this is the first time you're here. How you doing?
I've been listened to many times, Michael, and going on what Jim was saying, you'd be surprised how many people I've talked to, major songwriters who say, I wrote that in the bathroom at the recording studio before my vocal. So, the pressure is on, and when Jim says we're going to write a song in 30 minutes, your pressure is on you too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've been writing songs for many years. Your band was primarily a rockabilly band, is what you had?
Rockabilly, blues rock, roots rock. Michael, as you know, folk music is made by regular people. Yeah. And so to me, when I first heard the term Americana, I thought, that's blues rock. And, of course, it's morphed into something sort of a country rock, but and very rootsy, of course.
So that would describe you now as well, Americana.
I think so. Okay. I would like to think so.
Charlie Pickett's here, and you're going to be performing solo next Saturday at the songwriting podcast?
No, Jim and I both will be doing it in addition to, I think, other people in the band.
So all people on stage at the same time.
The way it's going to work is each artist from the show, there are 6 different artists. They're going to come up and play one of their songs. And then with the band or without the band, depending on what the song requires. And then we'll play the song that we wrote in 30 minutes on the show. And it's going to be, it's a theatrical production. If you ever saw the Mad Cat Live shows that were done a couple years ago.
No, I haven't.
Well, Mad Cat, they're a theater company and just good friends of mine from over the years. And they're coming in and they produced this show and this stage, and it's going to be awesome.
So that's interesting.
It's a whole theatrical production.
It's more than just the songs and the music.
Yeah, it's not just, it's a celebration of adventures in songwriting.
Okay, so let's get back to the song. Were you going to do Charlie Pickett's song?
Yeah, let's do Charlie Pickett. Do you have any memories of how we wrote this song, Charlie?
You know, I just remember the massive pressure. I said, what? We're going to write a song in 30 minutes? Oh, my God. I think you said something about when you were in the goods, you said you guys used to get behind the door and say, now imagine that the Nazis are outside and that we're going to all be killed if we don't write a song in 30 minutes. And I said, oh, yeah, that helps me, Jim. That helps me a lot.
Well, it worked. This song's called Regrets. You all ready?
Yep.
When it's low, when it's late, I do think of you. When it's gone, never moves on, I hold on. Nothing could change what has happened. Nothing. If we could just talk like we used to. Regrets.
Yeah, the things I never did.
Regrets.
The things I never said.
I never told you how much you meant. I played the game, but I never bet. Now I'm left with nothing but love and regrets. Oh, love and regrets. When I return to this dark mind, I'm lost, I'm blind, can't make sense of our time. I lost what I thought was mine. Nothing can change what has happened. Nothing. But if we could just talk like we used to, regrets.
Things I never said.
Regrets.
The things I never did.
I never told you how much you meant. I played the game, but I never bet. Now I'm left with nothing but love and regrets. Oh, go Roger. Love with nothing, love with nothing. Love with nothing, love with nothing. Nothing can change what has happened. Nothing. But if we could just talk like we used to.
Things I never said.
Regrets.
The things I never did.
I never told you how much you meant. I let you claim, but I never bet. Now I'm left with nothing but regrets. human. I played the game,
but I never bet.
now I'm left with nothing. Now I'm left with nothing. Now I'm left with nothing but love and regrets. Oh, love and regrets. Love and regrets.
Live in the studio, Jim Camacho with Charlie Pickett, along with Elsten Torres and Roger Norwegian.
That works.
What's your last name, Roger?
Roger Uday.
Uday, okay. And so that song was written in 30 minutes, you're saying?
Yes.
Well, that was a pretty good song for 30 minutes.
Right?
Thank you.
We got lucky.
And that also is on a new CD, right?
Yes, it's on a new CD, and you could get it at the show if you have a CD player still.
Well, it's also available streaming platforms as of Friday.
Yeah,
so
the
it's
16th.
out already.
Well, is that
Spotify, yeah.
is that the purpose of writing new songs? Is to get them on
Oh,
a
you
new
gotta put
CD
it-
or sell them? Why do you
yeah.
do all this?
Well, if a tree falls in a forest, no one's there. Does anyone hear it?
We don't really know what songs are about. We just write them.
Exactly.
Let them
Just-
take their own life, you know?
Right. Different
Yeah.
songs mean different things to different people.
Jim was one of those kinds of people that just he must create. If he was on a island all by himself, he would create. He would get a coconut and he would create.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Songs
Well,
about
why,
coconuts.
Jim? Are you driven to do this? Why do you do this?
Like what Charlie was just saying, I mean, it is kind of true. I do have coconuts that I've made. But I wanted to do something where I could involve people that I'm fans of and help people who, like I said before, who don't feel free to write, who have their inner critic who's speaking really loud. You can't do that. Why waste your time?
Has that happened to you?
Well, sure. I mean, you don't just become, I'm a songwriter. No, you gotta fight that guy or girl or whoever that is in your head. You gotta fight that person with all your might, and eventually you gotta. Once you have them, your boot on their throat, then you just try and keep the boot there. And the way you keep the boot there is by continuing to write all the time.
Adventures in Songwriting. Jim Camacho is presenting next Saturday night at the Mandelstam Theater, 8530 Southwest 57th Avenue in South Miami. Have you performed there before?
No, this is the first time I've performed there. First time we've really had anything, other than, plays or musicals there. So it's going to be really cool.
Tickets at adventuresinsongwriting.net. And this is also part of a podcast that you put on.
Yeah, it's a YouTube show that
YouTube
will also
show.
be a podcast once this comes out. It's all going to drop
Okay.
the day of the show.
Okay. And this next song we're going to listen to, is this another 30-minute write?
Everything you hear here today was written in 30 minutes.
Well, it used to, it seems you're making it sound easy.
Well, it's not. Well, I mean, you kind of. What do you think,
Well,
Roger?
you can watch the show and see. It shows us struggling or sweating. Like, oh my.
I think we all collectively, when Jim told us we're going to write a song in 30 minutes, we were like, what? What? I mean, we've all written songs really quick in the past, and those are usually the best songs, when those songs come really quickly. But to be put under a gun, let's say,
And a camera.
and a camera gun, and say, write a song in 30 minutes, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was a fun process.
Well, you mentioned that you're given ideas from the audience. Is that
No.
right?
This is done in a room with just the two people and Juan, the guy who directed the show, an amazing director, Juan Davila, who's also in the band. He plays on the record that you'll
Great
hear.
drummer.
So he's like, he does a lot. So it's just the three of us. So we have to write the song. So Juan just sits there and tries to stay out of the way and tells me to be quiet as
There's
much
no
as I can.
pre-planning or anything.
No, you're not allowed to bring a song that
Yeah.
existed before. It's all blank page.
No,
Well, that's
But at the
amazing.
show on Saturday,
Yeah.
it will be a gang tackle. I think it'll be 4 or 5 of us.
Well, it seems it might be easier to write a song as a collective rather than.
Yeah,
maybe it'll be a different process.
or
really.
too many cooks.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a little more diplomatic.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's hear another song.
Okay. What would you like to do next? You want to do Riot of Love?
Let's do Riot of Love.
Okay. Do you remember anything about this song? How we wrote it, or what it's about? Or?
I'd have to see the episode again.
Okay, great.
This
one
was,
was
it just
with
yeah,
Extra
just
It's on
came
YouTube.
out.
It's on YouTube
Yeah,
at
we'll be-
and Adventures in Songwriting.
Yeah, if you look up
Yes.
Jim Camacho Adventures in Songwriting, you'll see the Charlie episode and the Norwegian episode. The whole season is going to drop on Saturday.
Okay.
So this one we wrote with.
Yeah, Michelle was also who's an ex-Norwegian, and
Yeah.
she's another vocalist of the band, and
She's awesome, and she couldn't be here today.
yeah, she's not here, so we'll try to cover,
Cover
her
for-
lines.
Thanks
'Cause
a
we
lot,
kind
Michelle.
of we kind of we play along, right?
Right.
It's not really a duet. It's a triplet.
Yeah, exactly. The trip.
The three of us singing together.
So Jim, in other words, you participate in everybody's songs.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's you'll hear. We'll play one of those songs that have
And
been
that
recorded.
was what was
Okay.
interesting too. That was actually what made me nervous. Was like, well, first off, Jim sings much better than anyone, so
Okay.
that was bad. And yeah, just like creating a song for three vocalists. That's what I was like, oh man, how, But it kind of came
Yeah.
out cool.
I think we pulled it off. You can go on
it's,
Spotify later after the day is
yeah.
done and hear the record, and you can hear
And
Michelle
this
singing
one's,
with us.
This
Okay.
one's called "Riot of Love."
The Riot of Love.
Don't wanna get shot. Don't wanna get beheaded. But I must keep quiet. But I can't. No, no, no. I wanna be around. I wanna make a sound. But I can't keep quiet. I wanna start a riot, yeah, yeah, yeah. A riot of love. Start a riot of love. From the angels above. We'll start a riot of I wanna close my mind. I wanna keep it open. Times two, all night long. All night long. They took me off of Twitter. They disabled my account. I guess I thought too much. Out loud, yeah, yeah, yeah. Start a riot of love. We'll start a riot of love. From the angels above. We'll start a riot of love.
Live in the WLRN studio, Jim Camacho, along with ex-Norwegian Roger, along with Elsten Torres, also joining in along on that song. All part of Jim Camacho's Adventures in Songwriting. The adventure is next Saturday evening, 8 o'clock at the Mandelstam Theater, 8530 Southwest 57th Avenue. You know, that's another good song, Jim, and you sound great together. What happens to old songs? I mean, these are all new songs, and you've been songwriting for decades.
That's a whole other show, Michael.
Okay. Are you going to start another show of old songs?
Yeah. Save the orphans.
Well, so what's the new songs?
Yeah, I mean, it's more about just the creative spirit and just being around people that I'm fans of, and that was kind of what the whole idea was about. But
just having fun. Well, you're into so many other different things. You don't have your own band now, though, do you?
Well, I do. I do have my usual suspects who I'll invite to play along, but it's not really the goods, or it's not a band per se.
And you've also done some album shows as well.
Yeah. We've with the Mad Cat Live people who are going to be putting this whole show on. We did some full-length albums with a huge theater production, which I thought, well, it's great for someone else's music, but why not do it for the local scene and do something really cool that celebrates Miami.
So next Saturday night,
original music.
Well, next Saturday night we'll be featuring some of South Florida's best songwriters.
I feel like the best of South Florida. Not all of them, obviously.
Well, there's so many out there. I mean, and the genre you choose, is it? Do you have a genre? Is it rock or pop?
No, it's just whatever the song requires. We just kind of put it on. We just write the song. And whatever comes out of the two people in 30 minutes, it kind of limits you to a certain extent.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah, just sort of. I mean, if it would have been a bossa nova song, then you'd be hearing that right now.
So you start with the lyrics. Is that the first thing?
No, we just vomit it out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just you kind of just get it out.
And this is going to be. That's the presentation. It's almost like an impromptu show.
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of. We've been rehearsing for like 3 weeks, so it's not that impromptu.
Not too much impromptu.
We want it to be amazing, and we want people to get entertainment from it and enjoy the night. And
well, the funny thing is that we wrote these songs in 30 minutes like a while back, so. We started rehearsing this past weekend. We were all trying to we remember the songs.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
you guys
didn't know that was part of the requirement to remember the songs. Exactly. Just thought, okay,
I'll write it in 30 minutes,
okay,
but
we're done.
Yeah, I'm not going to remember it.
Yeah.
I'm in the studio with Elsten Torres, Charlie Pickett, Jim Camacho, and Roger. I don't know. Uday. I'm having a mental block. Jim, when did you meet Elsten? How did you two guys
Well, we've
meet?
known each other for like maybe 25 years or so.
Is that
Close
right?
to 25 years. Yeah, we kind of grew up together. In the
We were in different kinds of similar world, but Fulano was a little like after we were just kind of ending when they were getting started.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, his
his band Fulano de Tal. Well, you should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
Well, were they primarily a Latin
rock?
band?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Basically how we started here in Miami, middle 1990s. Yeah. And that's how we met, I guess. Playing shows, and we ran into each other, became friends.
The fact that you were nominated for a Grammy, Elsten, does that resonate with your career? I mean, does that help you?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely always, I mean, I don't go around saying, hey, Charlie, I was nominated for 2 Grammys. How are you? But definitely.
It's a big deal.
When people find out that
Huge.
when people find out that I've been nominated, it opens certain doors. It's.
There's almost like an expectation of success as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool thing. I mean, I don't hide it, but I also don't wear it like a gold chain around my neck.
Everyone here in this group of songwriters, another thing that's awesome about it is that everybody's really, really humble about it, because they're all awesome, in my opinion. And the fact that they're actually just,
So, Elsten, let me ask you how is it that you were able to get nominated for a Grammy?
It's like winning the lottery sometimes, you put the stuff out there. It's like, for me, it's just doing the work, writing songs and putting out good stuff, or stuff you think that's good enough, You don't know if you're going to get nominated. You never do something, at least I've never done it, to get nominated. You just do the stuff.
Did it intensify? Did your career intensify to a point where choices were so important that you felt like...
Yeah, right after you get nominated, it gets a little bit crazy, like, you become like the flavor of the month, and everybody's like after you, like, write with me, do this, and then once that dies over, you get back to a little bit of a normal life, But it's cool. I mean, it's cool to have that.
It all comes down to songwriting. I
all
suppose.
comes down to songwriting and the stuff that you do, and doing it honestly and believing in what you do. And
Elsten,
people like Jim.
Yeah.
People like Jim are just great to have in a city like Miami. Who, we were talking about this the other day. How close, pretty much all the musicians are in Miami.
Yeah, it's
for the
real
most part. We're all get
familial
along.
vibe.
So this sense of community is very important.
Why,
for
why
us.
do you sense that? Why?
Because we're always doing stuff like this. I've put shows together where I've invited Jim and and
Yeah.
vice versa, and I think it's good for the community.
And
to
it's
see that,
it's kind of starting with Charlie Pickett. I mean, when we were just starting out with the Goods, I mean he was always he'd be our go-to if we had any questions, or because we had no idea what was going on. And he even came over when we were opening up for Pearl Jam and helped us with our guitars and made us. As soon as he was on stage, I felt like, okay, we can do this. It's like, when you're a kid, whatever, then it's a little nerve-wracking, some of those experiences. But having people, and I think it's like we're all kind of paying that forward.
Yeah.
I mean, the Goods have tried to do that from what Charlie gave to us, and I think that Elsten has done it, and Roger, and...
Exciting. Let's have another song.
Okay, great.
Who's going to do this one?
Well, this one will be the Elsten song. But
Okay.
before we begin,
Sure.
I was thinking we could do a little bit of an Instagram giveaway.
Okay.
Okay, is that all right?
That's beyond me, but
Okay,
it's,
all right. Yeah,
it's
it's this thing. It lives on your phone. It's called Instagram.
Okay.
And so if anybody follows at Jim Camacho,
Okay.
just follow, or just the first 5. Should we do 5 or 10? First 5 people to direct message will get a pair of tickets.
This has
to the
nothing
show.
to do with me. It has to do
No,
with
it's
you.
just but they'll get tickets to the show.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Unless you
cool.
want to have them call.
No, no.
I didn't want to put that on. I didn't want to put that on you. Okay. All right. So first 5 people to DM.
Okay.
Okay. Great.
And then you'll say thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
to
I'll tell you if there
WLRN.
are any more tickets left.
Okay.
As we end up.
And this is a song that Elsten wrote in
with me and Jim. Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
Jim and Jim. Okay.
Yeah. Another 30-minute.
So.
Okay. And on the show we were talking a little bit about Elvis, not Costello.
Okay.
There's another Elvis Costello story that Elsten can mention, which is awesome too. But
Do you
but-
tell these stories on stage, or is it more of a
in the show
songwriting?
we talk about stories about Elvis,
Okay.
and on stage we're going to talk a little bit as well.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah.
Oh, so I interrupted you. This is about Elvis.
It has an Elvis tinge.
We talked about
influence.
influences,
I see,
growing
okay.
up, and Elvis
Yeah.
was one of Elsten's influences. So it just kind of weaved its vibe into the song. And this is called "Love Is Taking Over."
World so hard, world so cool, but you're the best damn thing that I've ever known. Thank God that I found you. Every day is another struggle. Wanna get away from all my troubles. At the glory of you. Love is taking over. Hit me like an atom bomb. Fool me once, fool me twice, but oh my heaven, it feels so right. Love is taking over. Love is taking over. Seems so cruel, but I don't mind. As long as you feed my appetite, I'll be anything you want to the end of time. Love is taking over. Hit me like an atom bomb. Fool me once, fool me twice. Oh my heaven, it feels so right. Love is taking over. Love is taking over me. 'Cause you're
All right, live in the studio, Elsten, Torres, Jim Camacho, and the rest of the gang. We're also here is Charlie Pickett and Rob. Roger, I'm going to write it down. Is what I'm going to do.
Norwegian.
Roger.
Uday.
Okay, and they're also going to be. They're going to have Fernando Perdomo there
Yes.
next Saturday night, as well as
And Rob Elba.
Rob Elba,
And then Sean from the Deaf Poets.
Sean from the Deaf Poets. It sounds like such a great night. So
It's going to be really, really a cool night.
That's Jim Camacho's Adventures in Songwriting next Saturday evening at the Mandelstam Theater in South Miami. Information at adventuresinsongwriting.net. So who taught you how to write songs, Jim?
Well, the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say the Beatles taught me, but that would be.
We had the same teachers.
Yeah, we did. Because my brother and I were huge Beatles fans growing up, and we were like a year and a half apart. So we wanted to be John and Paul, and then we wanted to be Paul and Art. But then again, Art didn't really write so much, so
That's
it just
true.
became John and Paul.
But you've been writing for a long time.
Forever,
now.
yeah, forever.
And writing new songs, that's what powers you, coming up with some new...
It feels good when you write something new that you think might be good.
When you think of it, creating something out of nothing is really incredible.
It's like a new friend you just made.
Yeah, especially when you've been doing it for a long time. And when you write something new that really affects you personally, you realize like, wow, okay, I can still do this, and
Right.
and I'm still into it.
Well, did
Two
you ever doubt
important
that, Elsten? Do you
distinctions.
ever have a writer's block, for lack of better terms?
I can't say I have writer's block because I know that every time I sit down to write a song, I will write something. Now, that's not saying that everything I write is going to be good, but I know that if I sit down with my guitar, I'll come up with something. Doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Well, I know you're going to write a song next Saturday night, right? That's
Yeah,
the
we're all going to write together. I
Yes,
guess
exactly. We're going to make up something in 15 minutes. So bring a lyric.
So you're going to write, according to this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 songs next Saturday night.
No, we're going to write one song.
We're going to write one song.
Oh, with
We're
all
gonna play-
7 artists.
We're going to play these songs. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to play all the songs that were written in 30 minutes, and then we're going to write one on stage.
And all the songs that were written in 30 minutes was the last show you did.
No, yeah, that's what's on the CD that's coming out.
On the new CD. It's
Yeah.
going to be available next Saturday?
Yes.
Okay. And that CD is called Adventures in Songwriting.
Part 1.
Is it the same artists that are going to be there?
Yeah. Everybody from season 1. Season 1 is dropping, as they say,
Okay.
on Saturday, and we're putting a CD out of all the music. It's already available on all the streaming places. If you look up on Spotify, you'll find Jim Camacho, Adventures in Songwriting, and you'll hear all these songs recorded, full band. And that night we're going to be performing all the songs.
Do you have a
From
house band as well?
Yeah, the
on
house band
stage?
will be. Yeah, there'll be a wonderful house band.
There's
And-
going to be a lot of people
Yeah,
on
my
stage.
brother's playing in the house band. It's just Juan, who's the guy who directed it, is going to be on drums. It's going to be an amazing night, and like I said, we have Mad Cat producing it, so it's going to be a theatrical.
And this is only one show. It
experience.
seems like you should do more than one show.
Well, I mean, it's a lot. It takes a lot to get this one show together. But I just want to do something cool in South Florida that because we don't. I mean,
Something
be-
different.
yeah, something different. I mean, people don't really. There's not a lot of shows in theaters. Let's say rock and roll shows in theaters, and I thought it'd be
Especially
a cool
with
thing.
local artists.
Yeah, it's something more interesting, and these are like Fernando said it the other night. Some of the best songwriters you might not have heard of.
Yeah. Well, some good songwriters are going to be together next Saturday night at Mandelstam Theater. Did you want to do another song, and then we'll play a song from the CD?
Yeah, I mean, I can. We don't really have anybody else here, but I mean, we could play a.
Why don't you play one of your songs?
I could play one of my songs, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
We didn't really, talk about it. Going on Faith now. This is going to be the next record I put out, but I'm going to perform this at the show, so it kind of ties in.
It's Jim Camacho.
2 quarts low, out of gas. He looked at her and said, "You're not going far like that. Need some brakes, need some tires. That car ain't gonna make it far just on desire." She said, "I'm going on faith, without fear. Love's the reason why we're here, and sooner or later it all falls into place. So I keep going, 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 going on faith. Her blonde hair and a red sunset. If he don't get in her car, he'll have one big regret. She just smiled, 'cause she knew wherever she was going, he was going too. Going on faith, without fear. Love's the reason why we're here. And sooner or later, it all falls into place. So I keep going, 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 going on faith. You want to do a solo? I'll do it over. Down, down. Tail lights fading, the world needs chasing down every single road. There's a truth that we all know. Going on faith, without fear. Love's the reason why we're here. Sooner or later, it all falls into place. So I keep going, 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 going on faith. I keep going, 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 going on faith.
Jim Camacho,
Beautiful song.
live in the WLRN studio. Jim, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
So is that an older song?
It hasn't come out yet. It's a newer song.
No
So it's probably
kidding.
the last song I wrote.
That was beautiful. That was
Thank
just
you.
beautiful.
It's a co-write with this guy, Chris, a buddy of mine.
So when it comes out, where does it come out?
Well, everywhere that you can put music out these days.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah.
Like Spotify, Instagram,
Okay.
Apple Music,
And
your
it's
shows.
It's still in production.
Email it to
you
my
mean?
sister.
It's still in production. It hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, no, it's done, but it's not mastered, and it's. I've got to finish this first.
Okay.
And then the
Going on.
Camacho Brothers after that, and then once those things are done, then my
Okay.
record.
Going on Faith. Is
Going
that
on
the-
Faith, yeah.
Very nice. Jim Camacho is here. Adventures in Songwriting. The production show is next Saturday night at the Mandelstam Theater, 8530 Southwest 57th Avenue in Miami. Tickets and information, adventuresinsongwriting.net. Now, the CD that of the songs that you wrote in last year's show is available Saturday night too. Well, let's play a song from it. Which song would you like to play?
You could play the first song on the record, which is "Bad Tattoo."
Bad Tattoo. And who is
That's with Fernando Perdomo.
Oh, okay. Fernando,
Echo in the.
just for the folks.
Yeah, Fernando Echo in the Canyon.
And for
Perdomo.
the folks, I mean, you're making fun of it, but
No, I'm not.
Fernando is
I think it's an
done
amazing
well.
thing.
Proud
It's a
of the guy.
great thing. I mean, it just that kind of. We did an interview the other night, and it sort of became the.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so.
Became his middle name.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're teasing him.
He
'cause-
came on Instagram. He probably would do it now if he was.
He probably would.
Yeah.
But for the folks who know, Fernando Perdomo, Miami Beach High resident, and
just an amazing musical soul,
Incredible
amazing
guitar
songwriter,
player.
producer.
he took the bite and moved to L.A.
Yeah,
about
he bet.
6-7 years ago,
Mhm.
and now he's in Jacob Dylan's band.
Yep.
And he was in the movie Laurel Canyon.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that
Canyon.
shows that he's made it. Not only did he meet Ringo, but if you open up that poster, there's a drawing of Fernando next to Ringo. It doesn't get any better than that. That's
That's
it.
great. Well,
So-
congratulations, Fernando. That was really good. And he's going to be part of the show. He's
Yeah.
like he's the star of the
He's-
show.
yeah,
He's a star.
all these the songs are the star of the show, and all these songwriters are awesome. So I'm really happy to do it.
Jim Camacho, Elsten Torres, Charlie Pickett, and Roger Uday. Thank you all so much for coming by. And here's a song from the album Adventures in Songwriting featuring Jim Camacho and Fernando Perdomo. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, Michael.
You got it. Thank you.
My hat's off to you, my dear old friend. I'll feature you in this song. You've been telling me the world's gonna end, and numbering your days and counting your wrongs, and ringing the bell to the grave. Preaching now it won't be long. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
up in New Orleans with a cocaine smile, burned like wildfire, the flame grew higher. She was looking for action, had a tattoo on her arms. He was ready to rock and roll like a freight train running, oh running, oh running. Baby, don't you know you gotta let it go? Oh baby, don't you know if you want it so, just let it go. Used to walk the streets at night, done by checkpoint charities. She said she loved the fear in the night, so it made her feel alright. But she was looking for action, had a tattoo on her arms. He was ready to rock and roll like a freight train running, oh running, oh running. Oh baby, don't you know you gotta let it go? Oh baby, don't you know you want it so, and you want us to be, but you want your heart to be free. Oh baby, don't you know you gotta let it go? Don't you know if you want it so? Oh baby, don't you know you gotta let it go? Oh baby, don't you know if you want it so? Just let it go. Just let it go. Let it go, just let it go.
Music from Danny Burns. His latest CD is called North Country, and we listened to Let It Go. Before that, Lindsay Lou and the Flatbellies from her second release, Release Your Shrouds. We listened to Hats Off. And opening up that set, Fernando Perdomo with Jim Camacho, Bad Tattoo, from the Adventures in Songwriting CD. It'll be available Saturday at the Mandelstam Theater for the Adventures in Songwriting show with Jim Camacho. This Thursday in North Miami at Luna Star Cafe, they'll be celebrating their... it's Friday. There's my first correction. Friday at the Luna Star Cafe will be celebrating their 23rd anniversary, and with me is Robert Hand, Nancy Wagner, and Jamie Phlug, as well as Alexis Sandfield. And Alexis, you're the owner of Luna Star Cafe.
I am.
23 years. What happened 23 years ago that caused you to open Luna Star?
Didn't want to work for anybody else.
That's the best reason.
That's the best reason.
What were you doing? What were you doing before that?
Bartending.
Oh, okay.
Bartending and waitressing.
Here in Miami?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yep, Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
And the club that you opened...
Club Cafe.
The cafe,
Yeah.
Luna Star
Restaurant.
Cafe, restaurant. Was there anything like that before when you opened that? Where'd you get the idea for the theme?
In North Miami, there was nothing. Coffee house from the 60s gave me the idea of what I wanted to do, but then it progressed into a beer and wine and music venue because before it was just coffee, and that just wasn't going to cut it.
Did you control what was going on, or did the neighborhood control what was happening in the club, in the cafe?
No, I controlled everything.
So you always wanted to have an acoustic type?
Always wanted acoustic music. I didn't expect it to come every single day of the week, but now it's a music venue that we host music every night most of the time.
Well, what is the hours of the venue?
5 to 7 p.m. I'm sorry, 5 until about 1 in the morning
whenever
on
anybody-
weekends.
yeah.
Tuesday through Saturday we have, a little bit earlier. It depends on the night and who's playing.
And so what's happening on your party on Friday?
Oh God, we have how many musicians do we have, Robert?
We've
Around
got a
we have a
lot.
lot, and we're trying to decide if we're going to make it a weekend thing. So Friday and Saturday, because we have our open mic on Saturday, so we might just spill it over, and hopefully people can come out on both nights to
Well-
celebrate our 23rd anniversary.
Okay, that's at Luna Star Cafe in North Miami. Alexis
is.
Stanfield is here, along with Robert Hand and Nancy Wagner and Jamie Phlug. It's
Wagner,
Hand, and Phlug. I should just say that. Wagner, Hand, and Phlug. And is it correct to say that you're the house band at Luna Star?
We
Closest
you
thing to
are.
Are we?
Yeah.
You
Yes, we
are the spirit.
We've been called that before.
How did you become the house band?
Well, we've been
Regulars.
playing there the last Friday of every month for years,
Yeah.
and hosting
years or
the open mic, which we do now. The open mic is every second and fourth Saturday. We host the fourth Saturday, and Sarah Jacob and Daryl Arnold host the second Saturday of the month.
Was the band in existence when you started hosting the open mics?
It was just the two
It
of
was
us.
just the two of us.
We were
Just
Box of
Nancy and
Light.
Robert.
Yeah.
Box of Light, that's
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I
yeah.
remember Box
In
of
fact,
Light.
Nancy and I met at Luna Star Cafe at an open mic. So we
That's right.
and
Are
we,
you married?
No.
no. No.
But we are partners.
We're partners. We're together in many ways. And the two of us met Jamie at Luna Star.
At Luna
Cafe.
Star.
So
So Luna
there would
Star.
be no Wagner, Hand, and Phlug if not for Luna Star.
That's
Cafe.
true.
So it's a real gathering place for musicians,
It
Luna
is. Oh,
Star.
yeah.
Oh yes, yes, it certainly is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Is where people meet.
yeah.
It's like so many bands have met.
Oh,
People
yeah,
gathered.
yeah.
Look at Sarah and Daryl met at
That's right.
Luna
That's
Star.
true.
And Daryl met them.
And they're married.
They
are
are.
married.
They are married. Yes. Yes.
And I'll tell you what, we're going to have a couple of songs from you, but I see the clock is, we're about 3 minutes before the top of the hour, so let me take care of some business here, then we'll have more with Wagner, Hand, and Phlug, and Alexis here in the studio at 91.3 WLRN in HD1, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, 91.5 WKWM in HD1 Marathon, Key West, 90.7 WFLV HD4 West Palm Beach, and 101.9 NPR for the Palm Beaches. My name is Michael Stock. More of folk and acoustic music right after these messages.
You can plan a getaway weekend to the Florida Keys, August 23rd through August 25th, and take advantage of the 9th Annual Museum and Attractions Weekend, brought to you by WLRN and the Monroe County Tourist Development Council. 21 museums and attractions from the Upper Keys to Key West offer special entry to WLRN listeners who present the admissions flyer. A list of participating venues and attractions can be found at WLRN.org. Click on the Florida Keys and Key West Museum Weekend banner to print out the weekend pass.
Once I lived the life of a millionaire.
This week on Night Train, we're going to remember once again vocalist Amita Joe and bring back her live performance at the Diplomat Hotel in Hallandale, Florida, and also at Basin Street East in New York, both in the late 70s. You'll enjoy hearing this vocalist and, of course, our regular big bands, jazz and vocals. 8 p.m. Sunday on all your WLRN stations.
Gonna squeeze it till the
We're funded by WLRN members and by Live Nation, bringing you the Lumineers, Saturday, May 23rd, 2020, at the Coral Sky Amphitheater in West Palm Beach. Tickets go on sale Friday, August 16th at 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
The city of Doral has been called the perfect place to live, work, learn, play, and invest. With its dynamic blend of businesses, popular attractions, and modern living, Doral invites you to learn why it is one of Money Magazine's top places to live in the U.S. at cityofdoral.com.
What qualities do you think make a really good leader?
If they keep the peace and keep everybody happy and bring harmony to the group, that's the ones that they really like in chimpanzee society.
What we can learn from animals, that's next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
The Tate Radio Hour this evening at 7 on 91.3 WLRN.
Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, part of UHealth, is now South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center. This means patients have access to cutting-edge treatments only available through the National Cancer Institute's clinical trial program. The NCI has recognized Sylvester for its work conducting research and reaching out to underserved communities with innovative cancer prevention strategies. This designation places Sylvester among the top cancer centers in the U.S. Details online at inpursuitofyourcure.com.
This is Folk and Acoustic Music. My name is Michael Stock, in the studio with Wagner, Han, and Phlug, and Alexis Stanfield of Luna Star Cafe, celebrating their 23rd anniversary on the 23rd. Is that why you're celebrating it this Friday, Alexis?
It's actually, the original date would have been the 26th, would have been Monday.
Okay.
I thought the weekend would be better, and the 23rd on the 23rd sounded so much nicer.
Okay, and it's going to be an evening of
music.
And
somebody's going to be talking about the cafe with photos, apparently.
I mean, another quick question. When you opened up the cafe 23 years ago, did you know how to cook?
I knew a bit, yes, I did, because I was living in Italy, so I had to cook for myself all the time in Greece and Italy. So,
Okay.
I didn't learn it from my parents, that's for sure.
No. Well, your parents were very interesting because I see pictures of you holding a monkey in a circus. And,
yes, many a times. That wasn't the circus, that was just later with me. But yeah, we had circuses when I was young.
So I'm glad you didn't want to start a circus.
I would have loved to have been a trapeze artist, but that was not my fate, apparently.
Alexis,
Lunar is a circus.
She was a circus girl.
Yeah. Well, I know you put incredible hours in there and work incredibly hard at Luna Star Cafe, and you keep acoustic music alive as well. So
one of the few places, and we've been doing it for, I think, with one of the longest acoustic running cafes.
It's a tough quest to get people out to shows.
It is, and especially in South Florida, I don't think people really appreciate live acoustic music for some reason. And if they do, they don't come out, though. They say they do, but they don't. We need people to come out, and really support live music.
And the Folk Club of South Florida has a monthly show there.
And they've been doing that for, I was trying to figure out when they started. Do you know when they started, Michael?
I started the Folk Club.
I know, but do you know when they started at the
Luna
cafe?
Star? I don't know.
I think it was about 21 years.
John Solar did it there, right?
John Solar and Gary Wilson.
Gary Wilson used to
He
do
was the one who first brought the Folk Club and Valerie.
Oh, wow.
And everybody into the cafe. He was the first one who came to my cafe.
Valerie Wisecracker still hosts the Folk Club
Yes,
open
she
mics.
does. And I
the
think she's still,
shows.
yes, very present.
Well, it's a real history there. And so how long, Robert, did you start there? What did you do?
I remember the band that I was in before Nancy and I got together. Yeah, a little band called Out of the Blue. We had a gig at this coffee place that went out of business years ago called The Grind. And afterward, we finished a little early. We were saying, look at that place. This was 1996. And there's a new place opened up there in North Miami, 125th Street, across the street from the museum. Let's just check it out. We went in with our instruments and said, can we play? And Alexis said, sure. Because there's no stage back then.
Right.
But we did. That was
23 years ago.
My first experience, my first Luna Star experience, 1996, which was probably just maybe a month or two.
Into it, absolutely.
A month or two.
I don't even remember a time when there wasn't a stage at Luna Star.
There was
actually. Well, maybe there was
like
a little
this.
stage. It was
maybe
like 6 inches off the floor.
6 inches off the floor.
Alexis, do you remember the first big act that you were excited about that you got at Luna Star?
Oh, there's been so many, but. No, I just can't think. I mean, Malcolm Holcomb, Kinky Friedman, all of these people who've played over the years.
I've seen some great performers there. I can't think off the top of my head who
And,
they are.
I'm always
but-
excited about my locals. I just love everybody that's local.
Yeah.
They're my heart, You guys have been with me for so long, and I get excited every time you're here. So.
And you have incredible patience. What do you, quite frankly, open mics are difficult for me because it's hard for me to sit through people that...
But we have such great talents. We really do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're so good at encouraging these acts.
That's what open mics are about. Bringing people together,
Okay. Well, let's get some music in here. Wagner, Hand and Phlug is here, and welcome back to the studio, folks. What do you want to do?
We're going to start out with a war protest song. It's called Little Soldier.
And where's this come from?
I wrote it a long time ago.
Oh, did you? Very good.
During the Vietnam War, actually.
Still just as relevant today, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's about the... it's probably from a mother's viewpoint. Okay. Anyway.
Different from you. Wanted to fight when he was older, not much different from you. Go play with your toys, little boy. Leave the fighting for when you're a man. When you're a man. Soldier, he grew just like you will, and he knew what he must do just like you will. Go play with your toys, little boy. Leave the fighting for when you're a man. When you're a kill and die in a rich man's war. That's not what your life is for.
Live in the studio, Robert Hand, Nancy Wagner, and Jamie Phlug. Robert Hand and Wagner, Hand and Phlug. I don't know why. Okay, well thank you, Nancy. That was great. So you've been writing songs for a while, then?
Yeah. I was quite young when I wrote that song.
Did you perform that as well?
I did. Yeah, over the years. I've been performing for a long time.
Where did you perform?
Gosh, I started out, I lived in Vero Beach. I played a little bit in Vero Beach, some in Sebastian, then Orlando. I lived for a while, and then I moved down here, and haven't done besides with these guys, I haven't done a lot of performing down here by myself, but I did a little bit when I first moved down here by myself.
How did you find your way to Luna Star?
Well, my daughter had moved away from home, and I wanted to get back into music, and I saw the ads for Luna Star had an open mic, and so I went, and that was probably 2009, probably about 10 years ago.
And what happened the first time you saw Robert?
I went, oh. He's kind of cute.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You know, I might also add, Nancy was in 2 or 3 headbanging bands in the 80s. That she kind of omitted that.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah. Her little bio there.
What were the names of the bands you were in, Nancy?
Well, let's see. There was Simon Crash. There was Alone. There was Plan B.
Did someone force you to join those bands?
No, I wanted to. I used to play electric guitar and stuff. So.
Well, speaking of headbanging bands, I know Jamie was a member of.
That is correct. Yeah.
What bands were you a member of?
I was a member of a punk band called To Be Hated, and I was a member of like an outlaw country band called Los Bastardos Magnificos, and I had been playing at Churchill's since before I could legally go there. So.
And what brought you to Luna Star?
You know, it was time for a change. I had sort of gone on this weird musical hiatus, and was just sort of playing by myself in the living room. And one day I got invited, actually by Aid, to go out to Luna Star on a Tuesday jam, and you know, I was going to go, and I said, oh, should I take the upright bass? I don't know what to do. And I showed up with an upright bass thinking I would be inconspicuous. So very wrong. And I played there for hours and hours, and I was so sad when I had to leave and go play. I was actually substituting in for Los Bastardos that night way up in Lauderdale. And I was so sad when I had to leave and go play my gig because everyone was so nice.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So you said before you were of age, you were able to play at Churchill's.
Yes.
And so I guess you grew up kind of fast at that atmosphere.
Got that right.
Why did you become mellow and acoustic?
The gear's a lot lighter. The gear's a lot lighter, and I mean, while I do concede, yes, I've gone acoustic. I wouldn't say I've gotten mellow, but you know, I think it was an inevitable progression because you know, I've always liked punk and rock and roll, but really my first love was like music from the 40s, 50s, and early 60s. So when I started playing with Robert and Nancy, I was like, how would you guys feel about a Ricky Nelson song? And they were like, oh, yeah, sure. Whereas I had pushed that with previous bands, and they were like, who? What? No. So, you know, I think it was just sort of a natural progression of really coming full circle and starting to play things that I really loved.
And she found out she could sing.
Right. They taught me that I could sing, actually.
Oh, is that great?
Well,
yeah.
We didn't do much teaching. She just sort of...
I don't know. I still feel like I have a lot to learn.
So I could see that you added a lot to the trio.
Oh, yeah.
Wagner, Hand, and Phlug is here in the studio. Let's have another song.
All right. Oh, yeah,
I think we need to switch.
We got to switch
instruments. Sat next to each other.
Oh, sure,
Nancy's the only one who's prepared in this band here. So you were Jamie was playing bass,
yes.
Acoustic bass. That's your. You normally switch when you play? Do you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So there's a lot of switching that goes on. Okay.
There's a lot of switching that goes on.
Well, you know that. Oops.
Okay.
That's part of the Wagner, Hand, and Phlug thing. Is that we each write songs. We like to sing our own songs. We like to harmonize to each other's songs, and so it just seemed appropriate to stick our names in there because, and it's great because none of us has to kind of carry the songwriting load. You know, we spread it out, and we all love to sing lead. We all love to harmonize. So
you guys are taking it too easy. You got to work harder.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep telling myself for some reason.
What song is this? What are you gonna do?
This is one of mine. It's called "Is It Love."
Is Wagner Hand and Phlug.
You guys ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I just don't know what you're thinking. Maybe I just don't know what to do. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't get it down. Maybe I just can't believe it's true. Is it love? 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 Haven't slept a wink since last weekend. I work all day to try and keep ahead. But when I get home late, I can't seem to escape all the things and thoughts I left unsaid. Is it love? 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 And I can't keep this up much longer. So relieved whenever we're apart. 'Cause every time we meet, you knock me off my feet and send another arrow straight through my poor old heart. So tell me, baby, is it love? Friends all say that I seem lost and lonesome, and all I do these days is sigh and pine. Is it written in the stars, hidden in a deck, or in the universe's grand design? Is it love? Is it love? Is it love? Is it love? Ooh. Is it love? Is it love? Is it love?
Live in the WLRN studio, Wagner, and Phlug, with Jamie Phlug taking lead there on guitar and vocals. And you wrote that song.
I did, yes.
Very nice. You were either channeling Nancy Sinatra or Hank Williams. I couldn't figure out there.
Why not both?
Okay. Is that did you record that?
We recorded that with Eric King, who is another Luna Star regular. And we haven't done anything with it yet, but we actually recorded both of those with Eric King, right? You did Little Soldier, and we also did Is It Love?
Yes.
And it was such a treat because I got to dust off one of my electric guitars and take it into the studio. So that's
Well, electric
always the
guitar.
dream.
Wait a minute. Are you a folk act? What is this?
Hey, Jamie was the lead guitar player for To Be Hated.
Yes.
Oh, is that right?
Also played lap steel for the Los Bastardos.
I faked my way through it.
All right,
Yeah.
Jamie. What other secrets are you hiding
She's
here?
a multi-instrumentalist.
There's banjo in your
If it's got
repertoire?
strings
Is that
on it,
right?
she
When I
can
was here with
play.
Michael Weiskopf, I played banjo in the studio.
That's right.
briefly, yes.
That's right. Is there a dulcimer? What else? You? hiding?
Yes.
plays dulcimer?
Yes, not the hammer dulcimer, but the mountain
The
dulcimer.
lap dulcimer. Yeah.
Yes, that one came off Craigslist. Got it from a wonderful woman with scarecrows in her yard in a
Here in South
in a
Florida?
trailer park in West Palm Beach.
Oh, my.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Well, how important is music in your life, Jamie?
I would say it's one of the single most important things.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think I'd still be kicking around here if it wasn't for music. Truly. It changed everything for me.
How is that?
It gave me direction, and I find that it still gives me direction in directionless times. You
mean back in high school? You mean?
Oh, even before that, I was maybe 12 when I started playing. I was a preteen back in middle school, and I just find that if ever mind or a question in my heart, the first place I go to is straight to an instrument. And they're all over the house. I live in a very small house, so going straight to an instrument usually means going and just reaching a few feet over.
I imagine it was some punk band that first got you into it, because that's the kind of music you went into, right?
Actually, really, I remember as a child my dad giving me a Black Sabbath CD. So not quite punk.
That's Ozzy Osbourne,
and,
right?
Yeah, and Dad wasn't a Sabbath fan, so I don't really know where he got it from, why he got it, but I definitely remember putting it in, listening to it, and thinking, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Black Sabbath?
Yes,
Oh,
Black's
no.
early Sabbath. It was the Paranoid album.
Yeah.
Great album, but I remember listening to that and going, that's it. That's what I want to do. And a handful of years later, I wasn't doing it, but I was starting to do it. Had my first little rental guitar and everything.
My first album was Peter, Paul, and Mary, so I guess that tells you which direction
Other sides of
we
the
went.
spectrum, but hey, we've met in the middle.
That's right. Here we are. Very nice. Wagner, and Phlug is here in the studio. They'll be one of the bands playing Friday night at Luna Star Cafe. Luna Star is celebrating their 23rd anniversary. And besides Wagner, and Phlug is Alexis Sanfield is here. Alexis, you still have your Tuesday evening jams?
Oh, yes. And that is amazing. We have such great musicians coming in.
Well,
and,
what is it? Can anybody show up?
Anybody can show up with an acoustic instrument. It's not formatted, so it's just everybody sitting around and they swap songs. You can explain it better how the format is.
You go there, Robert, right?
He's in charge of it.
Typically there. Well, I don't know about that. I'm typically there. I typically there at the beginning. May or may not still be there at the end. But it's great. Any level of skill it doesn't matter. Though there are quite a few really good players who come regularly.
I imagine you come across a lot of players who improve quite a bit.
Yes. There's nothing like playing with other people to improve, really. I mean, you can make a lot of progress by yourself, but getting with other people and you just absorb almost unconsciously lots of techniques and tunes and just so many things that you pick up just by being there and playing with people who know how to play.
I imagine you pick up new songs as well.
New songs as well, yeah. You get inspired to learn some songs you didn't know. Lots of covers we play, but we also play some original songs, and I think people get inspired to write songs.
Also, I received an email from you recently, too. You started a blog?
I did. I started a blog. I was a teacher, professor of English at Miami-Dade College for 25 years, and I taught writing. And I thought, well, now that I'm retired, which I did a few years back, I ought to probably try to do some writing. And so I decided to start a blog. It's called Understanding Things, and it's about exploring things from a historical, philosophical, political, and even spiritual standpoint that are important today, particularly in the day and age in which we live. And so that's kind of the idea.
You enjoying it?
Oh yeah. I love to write.
You getting feedback?
Getting some feedback, yeah, some good feedback, and there is a feedback loop. It's, by the way, it's understandingthings.net. Check it out if you hadn't heard about it before and you may be interested. It's for people who like to read and who like to think.
Okay.
And those two things kind of go
Those
together.
are pretty high standards there.
Well, unfortunately, these days, those are high standards. Yeah. But, that's another thing about Luna Star, though, is that there's so much about the digital age that tends to isolate people. And, of course, that you can find out anything you want to find out all by yourself. You can communicate, certainly, but there's just something about being together with other people.
It's strange how the social...
We're losing that, I think, to some degree.
It's like the social network is anti-social.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone's more isolated and into their own thing.
Right.
It's tough to find people to talk to.
Yeah, and of course you meet a lot of strange and wonderful people at Luna Star.
A lot of regulars.
There are a lot of regulars. Yeah, they're strange and wonderful, and then strange and wonderful people just walk in sometimes.
I want to do a podcast with Rick one day. That's
the Minister of Information at Luna Star Cafe. Yeah.
And we're starting the philosophy thing this week,
That's
so
right.
that's going to be
Socrates Cafe.
What is that?
Socrates Cafe. Sarah and Daryl are professors of philosophy, and it's a
philosophical.
Thank you. Philosophical discussion. So it's a group. So anybody who wants to show up will show up, and they'll pick a subject, and it'll be a complete discussion.
And that's starting
this Wednesday.
This Wednesday evening at Luna Star.
It is this Wednesday, right? It is. Yes. This Wednesday.
What else?
Once a month.
I don't have the schedule in front of me. What's happening this week?
So Wednesday we have the Socrates Cafe. Tuesday, of course, we have our jam.
What time does that start?
It all starts. The jam starts at 7.
Okay.
And it goes on until everybody leaves, and then the Socrates Cafe will start at 8:00, I believe. And on Friday we have our 23rd anniversary, and Saturday we have our 23rd anniversary of open mic, I guess.
There's also on Wednesday nights lots of jazz and the Nashville Songwriters Association get-together.
Which is a great organization for songwriters. Anybody who wants to come out, bring a song. It's a workshop for songwriters, and it's really helpful for people who write. I think it's an amazing thing. I've been listening to... I could become a songwriter if I really wanted to.
Well, that's once a month, the Nashville Songwriters Association.
It is, but it's a great organization, and people should come out if they're songwriters.
Well, Alexis, I really appreciate the hard work and effort and the
Thank
focus
you.
of the Luna Star Cafe. Been doing it for the last 23 years, and we're celebrating that this weekend.
This whole weekend.
Friday night.
And Saturday.
Luna Star in North Miami, 775 Northeast 125th Street. We did 3 songs, right? We got the 3 songs?
We did only 2.
Oh, well, let's have another one.
All right.
What's this called?
Or this one's called...
Which one are we doing?
This one's called the 1% Lament. And that'll be self-explanatory, I think. Doesn't sound quite right. I'm sorry.
I was getting into it. That was
well,
good.
I'm glad, but that was gonna distract me. I've got to tune up just a little bit. Oh, there's the one. It was that little B string there. All right, I think we're good.
Okay.
The stars in the sky all tell me the lie that in this hole ain't where I belong. I'm empty inside, right down to my pride. All I got left is this song. All my true friends were means to my ends. Oh, how I strung 'em along. Till each one got wise, they said their goodbyes. All I got left is this song. I spent all of myself on my portfolio. Why did it take me so long to realize I had nothing to show? All I got left is this song. When she was with me, any damn fool could see it was her love that made me that strong. Her love in my theft, and now I'm bereft, and all I got left is this song. I spent all of myself on my portfolio. Why did it take me so long to realize I had nothing to show? All I got left is this song. The stars in the sky all tell me the lie that in this hole ain't where I belong. My soul's in so deep, I sold it so cheap. All I got left, your love and my theft, and now I'm bereft, and all I got left is this song. All I got left is this song. All I got left is this song.
Robert Hand with Wagner, Hand, and Phlug. Robert, that was a great song.
Well, thanks.
Why is it 1% Lament?
Well, this is a
Song from a
person
different perspective.
who has a whole lot more money than I'll ever see. But I was just trying to imagine, what a 1%er might feel like, maybe after having developed a conscience. And
No, that's not
just
fair.
kinda-
Come on, you don't know any 1%ers.
You're right about that.
Just a minute ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, and I'm sure never will. But
Well, I'm going to
it's
stick up
using
for
my
him.
imagination.
I'm going to stick up my best friend, a 1%er. I don't know who it is yet, but he's there somewhere, or she's
Well,
there somewhere.
and you can play this song for him as soon as we record it.
Well, you're going to be at Lone Star this Friday? Where else? When else do you play there?
We play the last Friday of every month. We typically have somebody open for us. Various, so many great singer-songwriters and duos, trios, bands to kind of. There's just a great reservoir of talent, and then we play. Typically, go on about 9 o'clock and play until everybody leaves.
And you're also there hosting the open mics. Once a month.
Right, the fourth Saturday of the month.
Okay.
We host the open mic, and as I said earlier, Sarah Jacob, Daryl Arnold host the second Saturday.
Lots of stuff going on, Luna Star Cafe. Alexis, thank you so much for doing that and presenting the music. And the party is this Friday, the 23rd anniversary.
And I just want to just thank everybody who has supported Luna Star for the past 23 years. And please keep supporting live music and supporting the cafe, because otherwise it won't exist.
Right on.
Absolutely.
It really, it's really important.
Luna Star Cafe.
Thank everybody.
775 Northeast 125th Street. That's just east of I-95, a few miles out of 125th
By the way,
Street.
great food, lots of beer and wine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's enough. I think we promoted it enough. Thank you so much, Wagner, Hannah, and Phlug. Alexis, thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks,
Appreciate everything that you do for our
thank you.
community.
That's right.
That's really important. You do so much for this community.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Here's new music from Louisa Branscombe.
Back when December still had snow, way up in the mountains where they said nothing could grow, I tripped on a rock and watched it roll away. Little blue flower hiding there, doing its thing on a wing and a prayer. It just knew you gotta bloom anyway. Down in Texas it was so damn hot, sweat ran rivers down my guitar top. I said it's gonna rain, they said no it's not, not today. Then a little tiny cloud way up in the sky swallowed its pride and began to cry. It just knew